Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask an Oiler. We're here today with Oilers defenseman Tom Gilbert. Tom, thank you very much for coming out here today.
It's my pleasure.
All right, we got a bunch of questions emailed in. We picked a few out of that pile, and let's get started here. First question comes from Leisha. Leisha says, how are you enjoying your new house, and do you miss living with Sam and Andrew?
Well, you know what? There's certain aspects that I miss with living those guys. It's always fun having teammates and friends around the house because you always got something to do. But when it comes to cleanliness, it's nice to know that if I'm missing something, it's my fault. If there's dishes out, it's my fault. And when they were there, things were all over the place. So, but the house is turning out great. The basement is where I like to be pretty much 95% of the day. Yeah.
Are you finding that you're missing stuff a lot now that maybe you were blaming on Sam and Andrew that you might now realize was your fault all along?
Well, good question. And I'm sure that there's a couple things I might have blamed them for now that I think about it that was definitely not their fault, but I still like to blame them anyways.
Yeah, fair enough. That's what you get for being the elder. Okay, next question comes from Preston. Preston says, I'm wondering what advice you have for minor hockey defensemen. What advice would you give to those guys? The kids out there who are growing up as defensemen.
For me, becoming a defenseman when I turned I think 16 or 17, I think the best thing for me was always to keep my feet moving. No matter where you are on the ice, if you're in the D zone, if you don't have the puck, if you have the puck, always to keep your feet moving, I think is the best advice you can give to a defenseman, because it's just you're always in the play up and down the ice, because I know a lot of times you're defending most of the game, you're not touching the puck, and the more involved you are in the game, I think the more comfortable you get playing defense.
So you switched age 16, 17, you switched from forward back to defense, is that right?
Yeah, I played forward when I was younger, D in my Bantam years, if you know what that is in the U.S. And then when I got to high school, played a year of forward, and then my last year I played a D, and then since then I was a defenseman, so I was kind of back and forth.
Which is what gave you the offensive-minded side of things, that you never really lost that from being a forward?
Yeah, I think if I could go back and do it again, I'd do it the exact same way, because you see the ice a little differently when you've had the opportunity to play forward.
Cool. Next question comes from Kaylee, and Kaylee just asks, what about defense made you fall in love with it? What made you switch from forward to defense?
I think, defense, you get a chance to see the whole ice, and you get the pleasure of trying to defend a team, trying to make sure that they're not scoring your own net, and sometimes that's better than scoring. Just to shut a team down, to know that when you go on the ice, they're not going to score on you, and try 110% to keep that puck out of your own net. I know I could speak for a lot of defensemen. That's rewarding enough.
Right on. Next question comes from Mike. Mike says, hey Tom, I'm the biggest Oiler fan, I think, living in BC, living in Abbotsford actually, and wondering, as an American from the state of Minnesota, what's it like playing in Canada as compared to the U.S.?
It's, for me, it's Minnesota was a great state for hockey, and there's not too many states in the U.S. where you could say that. Hockey's it's great to be in. There's a lot of fans there. So coming to Canada, it's totally different. Everything's hockey here, and it's the support you get from the community, the fans. Like what it means to be an NHL player in Canada. It's something that I'm very glad that I came to Edmonton. Especially here, the fans are awesome. And just going on the ice and knowing that you're going to step on the ice and it's going to be loud, it's going to be rowdy. The fans are cheering for you no matter what the score is. It makes playing hockey a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, and the fans, we know the support from the fans is huge here, but there are also a small percentage of fans that can be just hypercritical about everything. Is that something that, does the support outweigh the critics, I guess?
I think so. I think there's always going to be times when teams aren't playing very well, or certain players aren't playing very well, and that gets a little frustrating when sometimes it's just not going well for your team. And here it doesn't matter. The fans here are great. And you might get your critics here or there, but those just get those just get trumped by all the fans that just come here to watch hockey, and love the sport, love the game, love watching us, regardless of what the score is.
Good to hear. All right, next question comes from Ben and Lauren, and they ask, "What's your favorite NHL team to play against, and what's your favorite road city to visit?"
There's a bunch of road games that I like to play at. Obviously, when you get to big cities like New York, it's there's so much to do there. Besides hockey, just to get away. That place is probably my favorite place to go because you can't find a dull moment there. Let's see. It's always fun playing in Minnesota because I'm from there. I get to have all my family watch me, whether it's on TV or at the game.
What's your favorite team to play against, your favorite NHL team to play against? Is there one team more than others that you get riled up to play those games?
The big rivalry between us and Calgary, those are always fun. It's the atmosphere, whether it's here in Edmonton or there in Calgary, it's always great. It's so competitive. It's hard not to get up for a game like that because it's just the games are so high speed, so intense. They're physical. They're up and down the ice, and those are the games I think. For me, playing against teams like Calgary and obviously Vancouver too. Vancouver is a team that we obviously don't like too much in our conference, and those kind of games that you just get fired up to play in. Like those are the big games I like to play in.
What about games where you might have a superstar on the team, like a Sidney Crosby or an Ovechkin, for example, guys that you don't often get to see? Do you get excited to see those guys like the fans do as well, and to play against them, to defend those guys?
It's that's always a challenge, and that's probably the best part about playing against guys like that is, they're superstars. They go out there, they're going to perform every single game. They're going to do something that's going to awe you. So you go out there, you try not to be starstruck, and just compete against them is always challenging, and that's why you play this game. It's every shift is always going to be different. It's fun playing against guys like that.
Cool. Okay, next question comes from Sabrina. Sabrina asks, "Hey Tom, I've read a few of your blogs, and I must say, when I read about the one with your new piano, I was green with envy. I wanted to know how long you've been playing and what are some of your favorite songs to play."
You know what? I guess I probably played for 3-4 years, and it wasn't by choice. When I was younger, my parents made me play. I had to walk home from school, and I would always turn the corner. I'd see my piano teacher sitting in her car waiting for me. It was the worst thing you could possibly imagine.
I went through the same thing myself.
It was so painful, and when I look back at it, I'm really glad I played, because obviously when you get older you enjoy and you miss those kind of things. So it's something I've always enjoyed playing. We've had a piano back in my home in Minnesota, and I've always wanted to have one. I'd like to be a little better, but I can play a couple songs, and I think my favorite, I think "Apologize, One Republic" is probably my favorite song. Yeah.
And you sing that one as well?
I can't do much of the singing, and I'm not going to brag about that. The piano playing I can do, though.
All right. Okay, next question comes from Emily. This looks far in the future, but she asks, after you retire from playing hockey, what do you see yourself doing? Do you ever think about that?
Wow.
Or is it just, you're just so engulfed in everything right now that, you can't look that far ahead?
I'd like to see myself probably, involved in hockey somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it's, younger kids or, higher level up. It's tough to get away from the game, especially when you love it so much. Beyond that, there'll be a couple years off.
Yeah.
Spending somewhere exotic, I'm sure. But yeah, I guess you never really think that far ahead, when it comes down to it.
Nor should you, in my opinion.
No.
All right, next question, last one today, comes from Lauren. Lauren asks, have you ever watched Battle of the Blades on CBC, and would you ever consider doing a figure skating competition like that, trading in your hockey skates for figure skates?
Wow.
Never say never.
Sometimes I have trouble just skating on normal hockey skates, and I think getting on figure skates would be...
toe picks.
It'd be embarrassing. Yeah. It'd be strictly embarrassing. So you know what? If it was something else, some other kind of challenge besides figure skating, it'd be fun to do. But I think that's just the one sport I probably wouldn't be too good at.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom. Thank you again very much for being here today. We know how busy you guys are. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and stick around to EdmontonOilers.com to find out who our next guest on Ask an Oiler will be.